Joining me on the program now from the Free Speech Union, Stephanie Martin. Steph, kia ora, thanks for your time.
Good morning, Andrew. Lovely to see you as always.
Now, these draft rules, firstly, who drafted them and who gets to have a say in them? Where did these come from, Steph?
So it's a draft standard code of conduct that we're talking about that's been put together by the by Local Government New Zealand. The Local Government Commission.
Okay.
And it would apply to local government throughout New Zealand. They've been through various kind of rounds of conversations and feedback and doing some sort of engagement, stakeholder engagement throughout the last few months,
Yep.
sort of thing, or throughout the year. And we were actually involved in a conversation with them some months back while they were putting together the draft of this. It's not clear to me exactly how the results of that conversation have been followed through in this document.
Yep.
But what we've now got is a draft code of conduct that would apply to all local government, all of the kind of local commissions, local councils,
Mm-hmm.
and that can be submitted on by anyone at this point in time. So if people feel strongly about it, then they're welcome to make their own kind of get in touch with the local government.
And our local government,
say
councillors, ratepayers, everyone can get in contact on this one, and it is just a draft at the moment.
It is.
Now, having a code of conduct for elected officials and people involved in local government, that is a good idea. But given that I'm speaking to the Free Speech Union about it, I'm guessing there's some fishhooks, Steph.
Yes, actually quite a few. I would say that this broadens and entrenches some of the problems that we've already seen happening with the code of conduct.
Mm-hmm.
And there's throughout, some local governments throughout the country have already adopted their own kind of code of conducts that they've developed. And we've already seen a concern, which actually the Local Government Commission has themselves articulated. And in part, this work emerges from is a concern of local codes of conduct being weaponized to silence local councillors.
Mm-hmm.
So we actually, the Free Speech Union, ran a survey last year of local councillors, and it came back that a majority, so just over 50%, 52.88 to be precise, believed that these codes were being used to weaponize.
Wow.
Were being weaponized to silence local councillors, either occasionally, frequently, or constantly. So there was already a concern about codes of conduct being used in this way. And so in recognition of that, the Local Government Commission has said, okay, well, we'll draft our own kind of code of conduct that will apply to everyone, and we'll try to address that, except that what they've produced will actually...
It's upgraded the weapons rather than de-escalated, right?
It really has. That's a really good way of putting it.
Now, give us an
it's broadened and entrenched, or it would broaden and entrench the weapon that people can use.
So basically, what are we looking at here? You're not allowed to say anything in council that somebody might disagree with. You're not allowed to hurt people's feelings, otherwise you can lose your job. Is it this type of ideological stuff that we've seen in other areas of society? What's the essence of it, Steph?
Yeah, there's quite a few different kinds of problem, but that's certainly one of them. So some of the phrases that are included in the code of conduct include things like respect. You need to, there's a specific statement: you must respect your fellow councillors.
Yep.
There is the fact that you need to communicate in ways that are inclusive, that are not derogatory. There is a kind of a specific section on freedom of expression saying, councillors have freedom of expression, but it should be used responsibly. So
Yep.
It's the classic, you have your free speech, but there are also stipulations that you're not allowed to criticise staff or call into question their professionalism or integrity.
Wow.
And complaints can also be made material if there's a risk that the comments might bring about some kind of reputational harm,
Mm-hmm.
either for an individual councillor or for a council itself.
Just stop on that one. Essentially, that statement in itself makes it illegal to be a whistleblower when there's corruption happening within our local councils.
Well, there are specific rules about whistleblowing
Okay.
for for corruption issues, but this is more, I would say, about the kind of level of being able to robustly debate issues that are
Yeah.
of significance for local communities. It would really stifle councillors' ability to do that,
Yeah.
because anything that they say that is in any sense critical of another person or
Yeah.
another person's ideas could, in theory, be the subject of a code of conduct complaint.
Wow. I mean, hey, we don't want our councillors swearing at each other, name calling, any of that sort of petty squabbling, but being able to disagree, surely that's the Westminster system, isn't it?
I would have thought so. Yeah, I really think this is deeply concerning, and actually, the more I think about it, the more I think it's deeply troubling. Because how how can you how can you disagree with someone and have a debate and exchange alternative viewpoints
Yeah.
without the potential for that person to think that you are expressing some kind of derogatory sentiment or some kind of disrespect or some kind of criticism,
Yeah,
right?
and given that offence
How
is
can
so
you criticize their
yeah,
ideas? It just
exactly, and given that offence is so arbitrary, there may be political advantage in claiming, "Oh, I was offended. Oh, that impacts how I feel about me and reputational damage." And again, as I say, we're upscaling the weapons in this debate. Steph, I
yes.
wanted to get your views as to whether or not the timing on this one is a bit more than coincidence, because of course, for all of us, we do see these billboards where the local elections happening at the moment. I think more about the local council this month than in the rest of the than the rest of my life, honestly. But it also means that the councillors who are most affected by this draft code of conduct, they're going to be busy trying to get re-elected. They're not going to have as much time to submit on something as important as this right now.
Yes, and also they might feel, sort of as though they can't actually express the points of view that they genuinely hold,
Yeah,
because it may, in some sense, be compromising for their own chances at election, right? So I do think that the timing of this is also very problematic. I
yeah.
think you've got a real point there.
Yeah, and hey, maybe not a conspiracy theory, maybe a coincidence, but still a little bit of an issue, especially when we want to have an open democracy. And in an election campaign, we want to know the difference between the other candidates. And in a Meet the Candidate debate, they want to be pointing out the differences between them and the other people running for election. If they're not allowed to do that, how do we make an informed choice?
Well, exactly. Exactly. I mean, in an election process, you would think that probably some of the comments that you made about your views and kind of stance on things in relation to other candidates could, in some sense, be taken as some kind of reputation damaging comment,
Yeah.
right? So, yeah,
They,
I think absolutely what you're saying is
and we need to be able to compare between the values and ideas of one candidate and another. This is democracy. Good news. Yeah.
exactly. And people also, like one of the things I think that's really egregious about this is people are out there at the moment thinking about who to vote for
Yep.
and putting a lot of thought and time and energy into this
In
because,
theory.
they want their local councils to be able to represent them.
Yeah.
And for this to sort of prevent local councillors from in the end being able to do that,
Mm.
I think it's a real concern for, local representation and our local councillors actually being able to represent the views of their community
Yeah.
authentically.
Yeah, or even their own views. Hey, we voted according to their values, and then they're not able to
Wild.
talk about them. And yeah, exactly. The good news, and there is some good news in this is a draft, as you mentioned at the beginning. People can have input into this, and hey, I'm sure the Free Speech Union are sharpening their pencils or virtual pencils,
Yes,
and
very much so.
encouraging people to jump in and speak up while we still can on this particular issue. What's the best way of doing that, Steph? How do we be involved with the conversation?
Well, we will be putting out a submission that highlights our like the detail of our concerns towards the end of today or early tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So I would encourage people to keep an eye out for that. That will come out through our website, and if people are signed up to receive our communications, it will come through there as well.
Yep.
That will detail our concerns, which people might want to sort of take some of those on board and incorporate them into their own kind of points of view. But of course, people should say what they genuinely
Free
believe.
speech, that's what it's all about. And hey, I really would encourage people to sign up fsu.nz to be informed on such important issues. Stephanie, we certainly appreciate the work that you do with Free Speech Union. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks so much, Andrew. Great to be here.
Hey, thanks very much for joining us in the Rhema studio. Thanks very much for watching the interview. It's kind of nice to have an audience, actually. And if you did like what you watched, then do give us a like, do give us the thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more interviews like that one, or perhaps even better, subscribe and those interviews will come straight to you. Don't forget to turn on your notifications, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.